22% of the United States residents gained 29 pounds during COVID. Oh my gosh. Hi, I'm Trish Gleason, and today we have with us Mr. Bill Wiedemann. He's from San Francisco. He's a specialist in red light therapy, and he's a developer of this product for many, many, many years. And we're happy to have you with us here today to learn how we can shrink our fat cells. Welcome, Mr. Wiedemann.
Thank you very much, Trish. It's always happy to see you and happy to help out your listeners and your viewers. So
great. Well, I did a little research, and let me read something that I found out from the government website, okay? According to the U.S. National Library of Medicine, it's actually clinicaltrials.gov, okay? So that seems like a credible place to get some information, because I luckily did not gain the 29 pounds, but I have plenty of fat cells, because I found out that all the fat cells you're going to get, you get them before age 20. And even though over the years, you may have some that die off, you're still going to get them back. And they landed onto your body wherever they wanted to. Do you think that's true?
yeah, it's a good way to start. And it just means that then what you can do is you can control the size of them, and you can control how large they get and how small they get. And when they, just like your hair grows, and then eventually, people think it's just going to keep growing. Well, the reason it doesn't get forever long is that hair cell falls out and is replaced. So similar thing with your fat cells is your body uses them to keep you alive. It's a tough job keeping us alive with all the things that we do. And your body uses the fat cells to store energy and store nutrition. So
okay. So, well, let me finish up and read what the clinicaltrials.gov says. It says, so I asked it, can fat cells be shrunk down, right, with red light therapy? So they said, yes, it's called lipolysis or something like that. And in your fat cells, it's a non-surgical way to promote weight loss and body contouring, and it can be done with red light therapy. So
wow, that is a great, very concise introduction. What we're doing with these kind of systems, and there's many companies that make these systems, we're just one of the newest and most progressive companies in the space. We've been doing it for a number of years now, is we're really taking a portion of the sun. We are here and we're healthy and successful because our ancestors learned how to use the sun. Their bodies learned how to use the sun. And so what we're doing here is we're just taking this red light. In fact, I'll just go ahead and turn it on now and you can see. So we take the red light that comes out of all these pads. There are 8 pads in this system to wrap around the body, and just a portion of the sun, and it tells the fat cells to liberate their energy. So you can think of the fat cells as kind of like a bunch of grapes, if you will. You have grapes out in the sun. I should have a little grape prop here, shouldn't I? The grapes out in the sun, they get hit by the sunlight and they turn into raisins. Well, a similar thing in simplistic form is what's happening with your fat cells in your body. When you get the sun irradiated onto your skin, your fat cells membranes become permeable, and then that liquid leaks out and it's available for you to use for energy. So it's a very natural process. All we're doing is we're taking those wavelengths of the sun and putting them and wrapping them around the body where the fat tends to collect. So
you're saying that when the light, your red light, gets into our cells, the fat will come out of the cells and goes into our lymphatic system, or how does that work?
Yeah, it goes in through our lymphatic system and goes to our blood system. So the capillaries will take it to the muscles, will take it to the the veins and the arteries, will take it to the brain. And so it's a very natural process. If you want to go back to, thousands of years ago, people would wake up, go out in the sun, and they had to, plant crops and harvest crops and run away from animals and chase animals. And this is the way their body got the energy, is from the fat that was stored. And so the membrane of the fat cell, think of it like a little grape. The membrane of the fat cell becomes permeable, and that energy is then leaked out to the body to be used. If you don't use that energy, we have a very good system. If we don't use that energy that leaks out, then our fat cells reabsorb it and save it for next time. So
Okay. So when it leaks out though, and it gets into our lymphatic system, the red light encourages it to go into the lymphatic system so we don't conserve it?
Yeah, that's a good way to think of it. And so what they do after you irradiate someone with the red light is very similar to being out in the sun. Is you go through some kind of exercise. And so what they do in these clinics is they put them on a vibration plate. You hold on and it shakes for a while, and that metabolizes that energy and moves it to your liver, and then your liver processes it out. People typically lose about a pound of fat in one session. It's a 20-minute session on the red light, 10 minutes on the vibration plate, and they lose about 1 pound of fat. We're not talking about water weight loss here. They're not sweating. This thing does not make you so warm that you sweat. It actually is the therapy from the light.
Okay. Wow. How long has this been going on here?
What's that?
How long have well, first of all, how many clinics that you know of are doing it in the nation?
There's more than 2,000 clinics doing this. So you can look up red light therapy, and you can find a clinic. You can look up, body contouring. You can find a clinic. There's a lot of clinics out there doing it all over the United States. I mean, you can contact Trish. You can get in touch with me, and I can tell you where there are ones. They're even being put on cruise ships and things like that. So it's a very healthful process. Again, it's natural. It's what happens when you go out in the sun, but people aren't going to take all their clothes off and go out in the sun, on a regular basis. And in parts of the world, you can't do that. So this is helpful. People have a very natural, uplifting feeling when they get out of it, and it becomes not only for body contouring, but also for recovery from weight training, for inflammation, pain and inflammation. A lot of the professional sports teams have red light therapy rooms and have these kind of wraps. You can find different products on Amazon that do these things. The unfortunate thing about red light is that 95% of the products that are out there, frankly, don't do anything. They don't have enough power. They don't have the lights close enough together to do anything. You can think of it this way. If I just had light right here and right here that were 2 inches apart, everybody can tell that's not going to work. Okay. Or if I don't have enough power. So we put them close enough together with enough power so it penetrates in and hits all the fat cells, hits all the muscle, all the tissue.
Right. So, you'd mentioned the sun. Well, we know it's not good to go lay in the sun. So this particular light is not harmful to our body, whereas I know the sun is.
Yeah. That's a great question. NASA isolated these wavelengths about 40 years ago. They learned that when they theorized that, hey, we can't put people up at the International Space Station without growing food. So they made some food growing systems, and they figured out how to make very low power lights. They're very efficient. So they made these LED lights. They were the first people to do it. Had to be very low cost, very low weight, and use hardly any energy. And so they did that, and they started growing plants at the International Space Station. And they noticed that when the astronauts were tending to it, you could, if you're weightless and you're bouncing around, you get a lot of cuts on your hands and things. We all even get cuts on our hands, right? They noticed when they were tending to the plants that the wounds healed faster. And so they started doing more research, and now red light's used throughout aesthetics. If you go in to get your face at an esthetician or dermatologist or plastic surgeon, they'll put you under red light because it feeds your skin naturally from the inside with energy. And then, of course, people discover that it also treats the fat cells and makes the energy available to you.
So this has been going on a long time, the concept of reducing your fat cells. It's just most of us haven't heard about it, or what's going on?
Yeah, I would say that there's clinics out there doing this for at least 10 years.
Wow. I did, ladies and gentlemen, look this up too. There's a word called ADIPO, adipocycles, something like that. And sure enough, that is, the term means changing the size of a fat cell.
Wow.
So you can make it smaller. That's
I'm going to have to rewatch this video you're taking. I'm even learning some things here. It's great.
ADIPOCYLES. And that sure enough is the definition of shrinking your fat cells.
I've watched some of your other videos, and you always do a good job of doing the research and providing real data. So people, I'm sure, appreciate it.
Thank you. So let's see. I did look up, what is this? They call it ATP energy. And apparently, go ahead. You can talk about that.
Yeah, it's adenosine triphosphate. And what that does is it goes into your cell. You know, the cells are really small, but I'm just going to show a picture like this with my hand, okay? On the inside of the cell, there's a lot of mitochondria. You may have heard of the term mitochondria. And they're just like little hamsters in the hamster wheel. They go around and they process all the fats and the sugars, and they make what's called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. And that is the octane that every single thing in our body runs off. Because I'm sitting here moving, I'm talking, my brain's working. It's all ATP that allows me to do that. That's made by the mitochondria inside of all the cells. And that ATP comes from the mitochondria, as I said. Well, light stimulates the mitochondria. That's why when we go out in the sun, we wake up in the morning, we have light hit our body. You were indicating earlier that we want to be careful what wavelengths of light. There are wavelengths in the sun that can be harmful. I think everybody knows about sunburn, but those wavelengths also create vitamin D3. Here, what we're doing is we're only putting the helpful wavelengths in here because it's been isolated exactly what the helpful wavelengths are that stimulate the mitochondria to process the fats and sugars and make ATP. So the skin cells can grow faster. Here's some of our skin products here. The dome here arcs over your face. The estheticians use this, handhelds and things like that. But
we'll talk about those in just a minute. For the people who only want to hear about shrinking up our cells, our fat cells, we'll get on with this segment and then we'll go into that if you don't mind.
Right.
So let me finish up that area about the shrinking of the fat cells, which I am definitely going to be doing this. You say that they have a few clinics in Florida, which I will get that information because I'm going to have to go. They have in Tampa and St. Augustine, Florida right now, right?
Yeah, there's I'm going to guess there's probably 100 clinics in Florida. I mean, I personally know, I don't know of all of them because we have people that take this product and private label it. You know, you put your name on it and things. So many companies take it in private label and get it out. I don't know where every single customer is, but I know of a handful, and it's pretty easy to search online.
Because you're just educating us today. You're the manufacturer, you're the designer, you're the developer. You're educating us today, and we appreciate that.
Right. I'm just giving you how it works and so on.
So I just try to make it from a layman's point of view, what happens when your cells shrink. So I looked it up and see if I'm right in a layman's view. Online it says you take the LED light emitting diode, and that increases the energy in your cells, your fat cells. So then your fat cells absorb the electromagnetic energy, and that makes your fat cells rejuvenate, which encourages the fat in the cells to move outside of the cells and go into your lymphatic system. Yeah,
that's certainly part of it. The other way to say it is, and this is actually what happens also, is the fat cell membrane, you know, the outside of the fat cell that holds all the energy on the inside becomes more permeable. So it's like, it turns into like a little piece of cheesecloth for some people say 8 hours, some people say 16, some people say 18. Let's just say for 12 hours or so. So the fat cell's membrane becomes permeable, and that energy is now available to the rest of our body. So by having that permeable membrane, the fat cell energy leaks out, and now we can that over time, you know, one treatment you're going to lose about a pound of fat, and then you lose a pound every treatment. You do like 2 treatments a week, and you know, in 6 weeks or so, you've lost 20 pounds of fat. As I said earlier, you're not losing water weight. In fact, you're encouraged to drink water. You're actually losing the fat. So the fat cells get smaller.
Okay. So one last thing about, unless you have something about the fat cells, how would we know if a light is strong enough or powerful enough to get the job done? Because you say there's a lot of companies that aren't.
Yeah, so the light should get a little bit warm. That's the proper brightness. These I've turned down so it doesn't saturate the camera. I mean, if I turn them all the way up, you can see, I mean, they're very powerful. And you want to have the light. You can test these products by just holding your finger up, and if it shines through your finger, that's the easy way. Probably can't see that on here shining through my fingernail, but if it shines through your finger, you have enough power. And I was saying earlier, there's so many of them that don't have enough power to accomplish the results. So
Right. Okay, well, unless you have something else to say about the fat cells, we're going to end this segment, but we're going to continue on with our interview because I have many other questions regarding other situations that red light therapy can benefit us.
Great.
So, do you have anything else about this?
Oh, I think, I mean, you had all kinds of information. So I had to kind of like sit back and give my information. You had it all researched. So I really appreciate it. Made it very easy.
Okay, well, thank you. So now the red light therapy does a lot more for us. And I want you to explain what the green is up there, the pink, and what else you've got there.
Yeah, so thanks, Trish. So these are some of the products that we've been shipping for 5 years now. And this is products for skin rejuvenation. And the different lights do different things. You know, we were talking earlier about how the different wavelengths of the red light, red and infrared, just gonna turn that off. The wavelengths of red and infrared cause the fat cells to give up their energy and therefore become smaller, very much like how a grape gets smaller and turns into a raisin from the red light from the sun hitting it. So these products here are not really designated for fat loss. The products that we have here, these are products that have the right wavelengths to accomplish other things in the skin. This product here is a facial dome, and we're using a red light, it happens to be 660 nanometers. And what that does is that does skin rejuvenation. It encourages the cells inside the skin to give off this adenosine triphosphate, ATP, which is the octane for everything in our body. It's the energy that we all use to do all the functions that we're doing. And this light encourages your skin cells to do that. So now you're gonna turn over your skin cells faster. As you get older, I'm in 65, I just turned 65 this year. My skin cells turn over in about every 6 weeks or so. A young baby turns over like in a week. That's why their skin feels so soft. What this red light's gonna do is it's gonna encourage your skin cells to turn over faster. So you get newer skin cells up because we're stimulating the cells, we're making ATP. That's the energy that we use to make the skin cells. So it just keeps a faster turnover of skin cells. Essentially, it's making your skin grow young again. That's red.
Mm-hmm. So I was just looking at my notes about that ATP. That's so important because what does that do? Does that put more collagen into your skin or the process?
Absolutely right. So your collagen cells and your elastin cells, so all of these wrinkles that can tend to develop as we get older, those are all, your collagen and elastin is not as strong and stretchy as it was. But by what you're indicating is that energy makes those collagen and elastin cells become more pliable, and therefore the wrinkles don't show up. We get rid of the fine lines and wrinkles. The other colors actually do other things. We do have a red handheld up here. To get my fingering system working. The red handheld, and that's going to do the same thing. It's exactly the same wavelength. So that's for spot treatments. People use that to make scars smoother or something. You know, different spot treatments like that with the red.
Or acne, would that work for acne?
Yeah, so for acne, blue actually tends to kill acne bacteria. So that's why we have the blue available. You have to have a particular wavelength of all these things to make the function that you want to get. So the red is 660 nanometers for skin rejuvenation. The green is 520 nanometers. And what the green does is it gets rid of the age spots. As Caucasians, we tend to get, dark spots on our skin. It's called melasma, that's the term of it. Infrared light can tend to aggravate that. But by green light, it tells the melanin in our skin to say normalize so that we end up with a very uniform color on our skin. We don't have those dark spots on our skin. That's what the green is for.
But how long would you have to sit under that green light to?
Yeah, boy, you always have the spot on questions at the right time. I love it. So makes it easy talking to you. So the green is all of these handheld lights stay on for 90 seconds and they automatically turn off. So you just, while you're watching TV, you just lay it on your hand if you want to do this part and you just turn it on. In 90 seconds, it turns off. You hit the button again and move it to another space. You're just moving it along to different places.
How often, like every other day or how often?
I've got mine pretty much under control, so I don't do it every day, but I know people that started out and they did it every day. So we're just doing 90 seconds every day. And in a matter of a couple of weeks, you can visibly see the difference. You can look at a lot of people have before and after pictures on their website, but you don't have to worry about it with that handheld because like one of my sisters, I have 3 sisters, what she did is she just took the handheld and put it right here. And after 10 days of using it 90 seconds at a time, you could see where it was all smooth white right here on her wrist instead of spots, and over here were spots and over there were spots. So no need for a before and after picture. It's all in one, right?
Right. Okay. That's amazing. I have a quick story to tell about the 1.2-year red light therapy, the one for your face and body on the behind you. Can you point to that to show everybody which one I'm talking about?
I'm sorry, what was that again, Trish?
Can you point to your the big?
Oh yeah, let me just turn that one on. That's this one down here.
Yeah. Okay, so what you do is you put that, I actually ordered one a couple years ago. So it's all those little lights are inside of there, and you put over your face or on your body, wherever. And you can do it up to 15 minutes when you do it, right?
Yeah, you can do 5 minutes. It hits the recommended amount of energy for the skin. And you'll see a lot of other products say like, oh, we got to be 30 minutes. And you know, you have to calculate the amount of energy, but you can see it's pretty much saturating the camera. And if I put my hand in here, look how bright the red is. It's making it really bright. And I can, when I put my hand in here, I can feel the energy hitting my skin. It's not the heat.
Yeah, it feels good.
So, hitting my skin. So
just to show you how it works, ladies and gentlemen, a couple of weeks ago, I was going to Cabo and I looked in the mirror and I said, you're as white as a snowball. So I wasn't going to go to the beach white. So in 20 years, I haven't gone to a tanning bed, 30 years. But I thought
that's good because that's a harmful rays for your skin. So you don't want to do that.
I know, but I just thought I'd do it once just to get a little bit of color.
It's okay to do it occasionally. By the way, this red light is not only a prophylactic for sunburn, but also heals sunburn. So the people that use the red light and want to get the most benefit, let me turn it off so it's not saturating the camera.
Yeah. So anyway, so the next, don't forget what you're saying too, but the next day after I go to the tanning bed, you know, I go there, I say, oh, give me the big one, right? The next day I'm leaving. Well, after I got out of there, my face was beet red. I mean, didn't look right? Beet red. It didn't go away. The next, all night long, I actually had to put ice on it. I'm beet red with like that kind of white around my eyes from wearing those goggles. It was terrible. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to go.
What did I do?
Yeah, it looked horrible. So I went right home and 3 times I put that red light on there. And you won't believe it, but the next day, you know how you normally peel and everything? Nope. I looked amazing and it was pretty much gone.
Yeah, because what you did is you created an injury to your skin by the sunburn, if you will, from the tanning bed. You created an injury to your skin. And so your skin is going to say, I've got a problem here. Remember, your skin's job is keep everything out and keep everything in. So when you create an injury, it says, oh my gosh, I got to keep this person alive. By the way, if you ever get a trivia question, what's the biggest organ in your body? It's your skin. So, so you have that injury that you've created to your skin, and it's sending stem cells there and trying to recover it, all these things. So then you hit it with the red light, and it becomes a soothing thing for the skin. It makes the recovery twice as fast. So if it was going to take 3 days to recover, now you recover in a day. And it makes the result better because you've nourished those skin cells right when they're damaged. All the stem cells are there, you nourish it, boom, you get a quicker recovery and a better recovery. So in the aesthetics or plastic surgeons or dermatologist office, they create this micro injury either with a laser or a rolling needle system, or just a buff pad thing. They can scrub it and create a micro injury.
You mean like microdermabrasion, micro needling?
Well, sorry, I had somebody come by.
Sorry, for example, micro needling or dermabrasion. If you do that before, it's good.
Yeah, any of those things that create this micro injury. I mean, you can even think of just taking a washcloth and scrubbing it really hard with a washcloth, and you go, oh my gosh, my skin's tingling because you took some of the outer layer off and it made it recover. Then you hit it with the red light, and you'll notice a very quick improvement in the skin and a better result. So you don't need to have any of these elaborate things, although there's things that do a stronger micro injury with the needle stamps and all kinds of things, lasers and all kinds of things. But the red light is not a laser. It's the same wavelength as a laser, but it's not damaging your skin. It's actually nourishing your skin cells. So.
Well, even on that government website, it called red light therapy. They call it LLLT.
Low level light therapy. Yeah.
Yeah.
All these people have different names. PBM, photobiomodulation.
Okay.
They're all coming up with different. It's kind of like you read the acetaminophen, and then somebody has a different name for it. I mean, they all have different names for these things, right?
Well, let's talk a little bit, not about beauty and how skin tight. I mean, your skin, your red light therapy helps us about our protecting and making our skin better. Let's talk a little bit about our health. So I read that it helps with our joints. Carpal tunnel, It says it helps with relieve carpal tunnel and Achilles tendon, and it helps pain management. What do you say about all that?
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, and I'll give you some testimonials of people that have called up and said, "Hey, does it work for this?" And I'll say, like, I don't know if it works for that, but let's just Google it. So pretty much anything that you can think of is helped by red light. And people say, "Oh, what are the contraindications? What can I do if I'm using red light? Can I not use it on this?" Remember, it's just a portion of the sun. So unless the doctor tells you, or you think, wow, this condition is going to be aggravated by going out in the sun, it's probably going to be helped by going out in the sun, and therefore it's going to be helped by red light. I have there's literally an unlimited number of testimonials, and people call up and say, tell people it works for this. Now, I tried it on that. If any of the people that are listening have anyone who's struggling with gout, it's absolutely wonderful for gout. I'm not making a medical claim. I'm just telling you what other people have said it works. And they said, hey, I had my gout was uncontrollable, and I just take this particular pad because they already had it. They lay it on the floor, put their feet on it for 5 minutes a day, and they were amazed. And they go into their podiatrist and say, hey, how'd you control your gout? Well, I just use red light. The podiatrist is like, oh my gosh. Eye health. There's a lot of articles now online about eyes. What do I want to say? Irradiating your eyes with red light. So we have people that have taken this panel and they just hold it out here at arm's length because it's so bright, you can't put it right on your eyes. And they close their eyes and they bring it in slowly, and then they leave it on for 5 minutes. Dramatic improvement in their vision. So there's just almost an unlimited number of studies and people discovering things for red light, because again, it's just a portion of the sun. If you have enough power, it's helpful. If you don't have enough power, it's not going to do anything.
So when we're talking about a carpal tunnel or gout or any of that, so it's all going back to that ATP stuff we talked about building your energy and making it more efficient within your cells of your body.
Right. Your body wants to recover, right? It wants to make things better. And if you let it recover and encourage it to recover and don't do things that limit it to recover, you're going to get better over time. So what the red light does is it's like an energy drink for your cells, if you will. It just flows in and helps your cells in the natural process of creating energy.
Wow. Well, I think you've answered so many important questions that all of us have, and we really appreciate it.
Maybe created a lot more questions. So,
so
if anybody has any questions, clip onto the video, enter your question, and it's obvious to me that Trish has done all of her research to know, what kind of some of the things are. So touch base with her and she can answer any of those questions or research it for you, or certainly I can help. You can find people like me on Facebook on red light therapy, different groups for red light therapy. There's it's not an unending list, but there's a lot of groups on Facebook for just espousing the benefits of red light therapy. So you can find me on there. I know Trish is on some of them. I see her on there every once in a while. So go ahead and ask the questions and ask people. People really want to help. It's such a helpful thing that anybody in the industry wants to try to help everybody. So it's kind of all a collective thing, of kind of raising the level of understanding. So.
Right. I did think of one more question, fortunately or unfortunately, which, for everybody listening, if we're not making any claims, if you take a scrubber and scrub your face and it starts bleeding and you hurt yourself, I can't help that. We're just making some suggestions on things that have helped. So, always use caution. But my question is this, which I know you can't make a claim, but you could say you've heard of that. Let's say somebody has cancer or even dementia or Alzheimer's or any sickness or any disability and since cellular rejuvenation is so important within our body, has anybody uncovered any facts that it helps those people?
Yeah, so this is where when you get to things going into the brain for dementia, Alzheimer's, what's the other, Parkinson's, things like that. There's always studies being done and new things popping up. They do have a particular wavelength for that. And there's even companies that have systems that go up your nasal cavity to get into your brain. The wavelength that I recall, and it's easy to find these studies, you just type in red light therapy and dementia, red light therapy, Alzheimer's, whatever malady you have, you can type it in. You can usually get 2 or 3 pages on it. But those are all specific wavelengths. The specific wavelength that I remember is 810 nanometers. And then they even have some things called pulsing, where they turn the light on and off, and somehow that stimulates the cell. I guess it's probably similar to doing a massage like this, rather than just pushing. So for some reason, pulsing at particular pulse wavelengths, there's so much research being done and people trying different things because it's so natural and so helpful to the body processes. So,
well, I will put the email address in the notes below. If anybody has any more questions, please let us know. And unless you have something else, you have done a great job.
Well, as always, I'm happy to talk with you and help out people just kind of generally understand what the benefits are in layman's terms, and maybe a few technical terms thrown in there just to spark some interest. So,
well, thank you. Okay, well, we're done. Thank you for coming, and have a great holiday, everybody.
Trish, thank you very much for the good work always.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We're at the end of another enlightening episode of the World Wellness Show, and we want to be reminded of the incredible insights shared by our esteemed doctor. Their passion for health and wellness have provided us with valuable knowledge to enhance our well-being. We offer educational information and suggest strongly that you seek medical attention through your physician or other medical professional. Until next time, thank you for coming.